Hey guys, Chris from Black Flag Barbell Club here. Welcome back to Worth It Wednesdays. Today we're going to be talking about lifting straps. First things first, if we're talking straps, then that is different to wraps. If someone says they're wearing wrist wraps, they're talking about the Velcro-y stuff that you put around your wrist. Mainly would use it for benching, but a strap is something different. It helps you attach yourself to the bar, so it makes it harder for you to drop the bar, basically. Okay? Now there's two main kinds of straps. You've got an actual strap, that's just a long piece of fabric or leather, has a little eyelet at the top, and then you've got your figure eight strap, which is does what it says on the tin. It looks like a figure eight. There's nothing to wrap up, it's all done for you already. So let's talk about the strappy one first. Now, the little eyelet at the top, you loop through the end, through that eyelet, and then you cinch it up on your wrist. That's step one. And then you'll wrap it around the barbell a couple of times. So these ones are a bit long, so I only wrap it twice. And then once you've got it wrapped, you just sort of twist it until it tightens up. And once it's tight enough and it's attached to your wrist, bar will stay there. Okay? Now, when you let go with a strap, then it will let go. Okay? And that's one of the, I don't know if I'd call it a benefit. To me it's a benefit, but that's one of the key factors with why you might choose a strap over a figure eight, is that you can drop it. Okay? Now these come in leather or in fabric. Neither is better. The leather ones are apparently meant to last longer. These are still pretty new, so I'll refrain from saying if that's true or not. But the strap ones, the fabric ones work exactly the same. You can get different lengths depending on what you buy and where. They'll usually be relatively thick if they're fabric. You can get thinner ones, but it's all personal preference. You try different straps. They're not really that expensive. The leather ones get a bit pricey because they're leather, but fabric ones shouldn't run you much more than like 20-30 bucks. So I prefer the strap version, again, because you can let it go. I also find it lets you get a better grip, because when we get to the figure eight ones, you can't really adjust them, whereas with the straps, so if I want it tighter, I can wind it up tighter. If I want it looser, I just unwind it a bit and it gives me more play, but I can just strap the shit out of it if I really want to. And again, you can drop it. So I prefer the strap version of straps, but the figure eights are good in their own way, in that you cannot let go of the bar. So to use a figure eight, you're going to pop one hand through, you're going to loop it around the bar, pop your other hand through, and then you're just going to grab it. Now, that's not going to be particularly tight, but it's not going to go anywhere. So even if I'm not holding it, the bar is still attached to me. So if for whatever reason your grip gave out 100% completely, could not hold onto it a second longer, you're still not going to drop it. So that is both a pro and a con, because if you want to drop it, you can't. Now, this looks a bit weird and wacky and you're like, well, you can just... But no, because if you have the other one on, then you are attached at both ends. So you have to physically put the bar down, and then you're good to go. Now they are easy to use, so the strap ones, if you're not used to looping them around and tightening them up, it does take a little bit of practice. It's a little bit, it's a bit fun watching new people try them out, but it does slow down your sets. You'll be spending, especially on deadlifts, you'll be spending a lot of time squat down in that sort of bent knee, bent hip position, wrapping this thing. It is going to make you a little bit tired for that set. Once you're used to it, once you're good at it, then it's pretty quick. Like you can tell, it doesn't take very long. These ones are a little bit quicker, but once you're good at it, a strap is not particularly prohibitive in terms of time, speed, efficiency. Now, some people do prefer using these. I'm not one of them, but they're a perfectly valid option. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just personal preference. Now, are straps worth it? So for about $20-30, they're a pretty inexpensive training tool. The main benefits that you get from strapping are that it takes the focus off your grip. So if you were, for example, doing rows, high rep rows, and let's say you're doing 12, and you're using a weight that you know you can do, but that your grip just sort of starts to, not necessarily give out, but it starts to slip a little, it's not as great, you're focusing a bit more on your grip versus the row. Does that make sense? In which case, straps are really great. You just throw them on, strap yourself in, you're not going to drop it, you're good to go. You can focus on the muscle you're trying to work if it's a hypertrophy thing. You can focus on the movement if it's a movement thing. It just takes your mind off the grip and into whatever you're doing, which is a big, big benefit, especially when you're trying to build muscle or perfect a movement pattern. You don't want something that isn't really beneficial to alter what you're doing. Okay? And it's not really going to, some people will say straps don't let you, like your grip's going to get weak because you're not holding the bar, that kind of thing. To that I say not really, unless you've got a really focused specific grip problem, your grip is an issue, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be using straps then. But for the most part, if you just do your heavy stuff without them, which you should be doing anyway, again, they're mainly about getting your mind on the job. So if the job is to lift the heavy thing 3 times, you don't really need these. If your grip can't hold for 3, you've probably got a bit of a grip problem. Yeah? So they're not really going to affect your grip. They're basically just a training tool. And for that, I say they're worth it. If you're doing high rep work, it doesn't even have to be barbell work. You see people wrap onto the lat pull down, seated row, all that kind of stuff. Again, just to give them a better connection to that muscle, to that movement. So for $20, $30, definitely worth it. Again, it's a tool. You don't have to use it all the time. You shouldn't use it all the time. Tool for a purpose. Make sure the purpose is right and the tool will do a good job. Okay? So if you've got anything else you want to see on Worth It Wednesday, drop us a comment or a message and we'll try and get to it. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Motherfuckers better know.